Welcome, greetings. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you. I've been looking forward to this moment for a long time, and it's amazing to be here together. You personally are the best in the world, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But to quickly introduce myself, my name is Steve Thomas. I'm 45 years old. I grew up near Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm currently living near Fresno, California. My background is in civil engineering with a focus on structures. I've been involved in the designs of unique glass enclosures, as well as resources related to tensegrity, as you can see behind me. We'll talk about those more in a moment. Most recently, I served for 9 years as the Regional Technical Advisor for one of the world's largest glass manufacturers, supporting their sales organization and industry contacts across the Western US and Canada. That last role was a dream job, working with people I love and helping them to navigate ambiguity by hopefully delivering simple, articulate solutions to seemingly complicated problems. But as I'm sure you've noticed, the world has a lot of problems. A lot of seemingly large, complicated problems that cause a great deal of suffering, and they're not well addressed from one generation to the next. And so the situation lends itself to the question, could these seemingly large, complicated problems also be solved with comparatively simple solutions? And I'm convinced the answer is yes. But let me be clear, I don't have all the answers. I'm just like the dumb guy who wandered on the basketball court in the middle of the game, a game that's been going on a very, very long time. I happened to be near the hoop and the ball landed in my hand. And you're in the same situation. Being alive right now is extraordinary, and the future ahead of us is so bright that few people right now can probably imagine how bright it's going to be. And it's a consequence of courage. People who came before us and didn't ask which leader to follow, but who looked around at a world that didn't add up and became the future that they wanted to see. And you have it within yourself to do the very same thing. And so in terms of my personal experience, I went ahead and quit my dream job to be of greater service in this area. Not so much out of anger or frustration with how the world is, but out of extreme confidence in the future that all of us, everyone, together as a family, can build. Now, I'm not suggesting that you necessarily do something so dramatic. Each of us have our own vocation that is uniquely ours. Yet you do have it within yourself to be a world leader, because in fact, you already are. Now, just looking at you through this camera, without knowing anything about you other than that you're behind this lens, I can list lots of ways that you're the best in the world. Now, they may sound trivial at first, but you can see how they can expand. For instance, you may be sitting in a chair right now, and if the world wants to know what's happening, what it's like to be in that chair, all the world's TV cameras are focused directly at you. You're the one and only expert in that area. And then look at other things, like maybe you're in a room alone. That room is your dominion. Or let's look at your relationships. There are lots of ways in which you're the only person in the world that has a combination of relationships that you do, or experiences you have, or perspective, or any combination of your relationships, experiences, perspective, as they're continuously developing over time. You can start to see that not only are you unique in the world, you're the best in the world in a range of areas. You are the best in the world, and so is everyone else. Now, none of us have all the answers. We're dependent upon each other, and that's how it should be, so that we're kind, caring, loving people as we grow together. Innately, each of us has around 8 billion followers because we are the best in the world in a certain area. And if we want to maximize that area, not to be important, but to be of service, we can maximize our bandwidth by minimizing our ego. That keeps everything harmonious as we all grow together. There's another component, which is the chemistry that makes you who you are. Let's talk about your mind versus your heart. It's been discovered that the mind calculates, whereas the heart gives. So the mind, for instance, could look at a cake and decide how to cut it in half and which side it wants, but it's not netting anything, it's just calculating. Your heart, on the other hand, is capable of unconditionally giving. And therefore your heart, unlike your mind, is capable of net results. Your mind speaks in terms of ideas, whereas your heart speaks in terms of emotions. So videos like this, where I'm using word models, may be interesting to listen to. They may give you something to think about, but they don't necessarily generate results because they aren't necessarily speaking the language of emotions. So with each of these videos, I'm recommending an external video that has a similar message that's expressed more artistically. And over the course of time, you may find that you're paying more attention to your heart and less attention to me. And that's exactly how it should be. The mind, being a calculating resource, is affiliated with precision, whereas the heart, being a giving resource, is affiliated with accuracy. So let's imagine the worst case scenario with both the heart and the mind. In the case of the heart, we end up vaguely accurate. In the case of the mind, we end up precisely wrong. And unfortunately in this world, there's more focus upon the mind than there is upon the heart. For instance, you can go online and with great precision get the best price on a piece of merchandise. You can dial up your coupon codes and get a great deal. High precision. At the same time, a huge share of the world's population is living in poverty, and women around the world don't have the same rights as men, or absent accuracy. So it's more important to focus upon the heart than the mind. When we focus upon your heart, we're focused upon the part of you that's most representative of who you are, the part of you that has access to your full potential. As we talked about earlier, you have opportunities that nobody else in the world has. And if you don't pursue them, nobody else will, because nobody else can. At the beginning of this video, as we were getting to know each other, I mentioned tensegrity structures, and this is an example of one. It appears that the members are just hovering in space, but in reality they're connected by tension members, in this case fishing wire. When I was first introduced to this technology, I looked at it and figured, I'll never understand that. Maybe it's something Einstein can figure out, but not me. But then when I looked at it again, my thought process started to change. If we look at the individual members, let's say the tension members, they have only tension in them, and the compression members have only compression. So in terms of member types, they're actually the two simplest types out there. And if we isolate any compression member, it takes only 3 supports to stabilize the end, whether the top end or the bottom end. So with these compression members in 3-dimensional space, supported on each end, we have a tensegrity structure. It's a small analogy in how I think the world's problems are configured. They may appear complicated and very difficult to solve, and they are within a context, but maybe not if we look at them differently. So what's the takeaway here? You are a leader. You have the capacity to change the world because you already are. Everything you're doing has an impact on the world around you and a ripple effect on everything else. And just like the butterfly effect, where the flapping of a butterfly's wings can eventually result in a hurricane on the opposite side of the world, just planting a seed, doing something more than nothing, no matter how small, if it's meant to be, can result in an effect that lasts for generations. There are huge practical solutions right on the horizon, yet they are ultimately accessible only through your heart. But working together, all of us together, we can achieve them because everyone is family.